Hello, welcome to another Real Raw Moment, and tonight's is going to be a softer, more sensitive topic. But before we get into it, let's get into what I am not. I am not a doctor, lawyer, therapist, or any other accredited body that could be used in the furtherance of your own court case. I am simply a two-time alienated parent who believes that their thoughts are not their thoughts alone. If I'm thinking it, so are other people, and I'm going to talk about it. As the internet says, for entertainment and informational purposes only. Whew! Fastest time yet. I know that might be getting old if you watch my videos. Okay, let's move into tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is about the fight in parental alienation, particularly the legal fight. Now, if you're an alienated parent of any degree, you have likely experienced the court system already, if not at least the legal system in the sense of lawyers going back and forth. There's a saying, I should have looked it up. It's on the tip of my tongue who says it. Anyhow, what is the definition of insanity? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Okay? It really is that simple. So, in alienation, for one, we're encouraged to fight because we're fighting for the most precious cargo in life, and that is our children. And I'm not here to say don't fight. Trust me. I'm not saying that. But there comes a time in all of our journeys when we're spinning our wheels. And not only spinning our wheels, coming to the end of any sort of option to further our case. Now, I'm being very general because parental alienation in particular, but this also applies to high conflict divorce, high conflict custody, high conflict pretty much anything in life, especially when it involves the legal system. When do you stop? When is it okay to stop? Should you stop? Parental alienation has a really kind of niche, we know it niche market, but niche feeling about the fight. So I'm here to say this and start this video out with saying this. Stopping whatever you're doing that isn't working does not mean you're giving up on your children. Let me say that again. Stopping what you're doing, and let me qualify that with not just being in court or with lawyers, nasty posts, nasty memes, styles of communication, withholding, giving too much. It doesn't matter. If you evaluate what you're doing and it's not working, is it okay to stop? Yes. Yes, it is. Does it mean you're giving up on your children? No, it does not. One of the things that's been coming up a lot with alienated parents, and again, I'm qualifying alienation not just in the 100% realm of you haven't seen your children for years. I'm talking about the degrees of alienation. Every case is different. Some people see their children. Some people talk to their children. Some people get to see and talk to their children, and some people don't see their children at all. The toll is no more or less depending on the access to your children. And here's the key word, access. When we had our children, and I'm saying this not as a woman, as a parent, when we had our children, did we ever think that we'd have to access them? No, of course not. Of course not. Our children were always going to be there. We were always going to parent them in the best way that we could. And then suddenly we're fighting just to see them. It doesn't make sense overall. It doesn't even make biological sense. Our bodies actually fight this within ourselves because this fight doesn't make sense. Children are a natural offspring of ourselves, and it's one of the only things in the world that before alienation you could count on. You could count on your children being there. You could count on being able to hug your children, take them to baseball. Yeah, you could count on being frustrated with them. That's okay too. Being a parent is not easy. But here we are in the fight of our lives. Fights have costs, and not just financial costs. Obviously, we understand, or if you don't, you will, the for-profit system, lawyers, yeah, but let's talk about the personal costs. Let's talk about the sleepless nights. Let's talk about the bad eating. Let's talk about losing jobs, work, friends, family, not being able to function. When you start incurring those costs, those very vital costs, your health costs, it's time to do some inventory and say, what can I change? And so many people have come to me and said, like, is it okay to stop? Yeah, it is. It's okay to stop what you're doing if it's not working. Bottom line, you don't need my permission or anybody else's permission to make any decision in your life, in your court case, your personal decisions, whatever you decide to do. You don't need anybody else's permission but yours. But I understand it is helpful. It's also mosquito season. It's helpful to get some feedback and to hear somebody say, yeah, that actually makes sense. Because here's what doesn't make sense. And this is not talked about in studies. It's not talked about mostly online. For me, again, let's remind ourselves, these are my real raw moments. These are my thoughts, feelings, perceptions. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm a human being. So let's say that. Yeah. I have a passion for helping parents and focusing on parents of alienation. The children have a lot of advocates. Parents don't have as many. So I'm here to advocate for the parent. What studies are not studying, not talking about, is the absolute mental, physical, and emotional cost of fighting for your child. And the concept of fighting at all costs, what that actually means. Now, again, we can talk about the financial cost. We understand many parents have been bankrupted, given their last dime to still not have their children based on the for-profit system. That's a reality. But let's talk about the things that aren't financial and actually are more important, i.e. staying alive, which is ourselves. We are willing to withdraw from the bank of ourselves to perpetuate a fight, to keep a fight going that may probably or may not, your case, depending on your case, win. So let's go back to that quote. What is insanity? To continue doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. To continue in one vein, whether it's filing motion after motion after motion, text after text after text, call after call after call, in the same tones. If it didn't work the first couple of times, it's not going to work. And in fact, we know that in alienation, narcissistic behavior is really on point and it's on show. So you keep doing that, you're feeding a narcissist their comfort food while you twist yourself inside out. And I mean that almost literally, to advocate for your kids. Now, again, let's keep it on point. I'm not saying don't advocate for your kids. What I am saying is it's okay to stop what you're doing if it's not working. And it's also okay to choose yourself. And here is the why behind that. As parents, we're taught to be sacrificial lambs to the death, right? I mean, it's almost biblical. It is actually biblical. But the real world doesn't work that way. Because we have to work. We need to put a roof over our heads, food on the table for ourselves at the very least. And in this economy, that is a tall order. But here's the bigger reason in my mind to stop what you're doing if it's not working. And I mean, be really honest with yourself. Because I'll be honest with you. If you think that the next filing, the next phone call, the next text, or the next whatever you've been doing that is not working is going to work, playing the lottery will have better odds. That's just the way it is. When you think about choosing yourself in the midst of this egregious, horrible battle that is called parental alienation and the family court system and high conflict divorce and high conflict custody cases, choosing yourself is one of the most vital things that you can do. Because what are we working towards? Getting our kids back, right? But you've got to think about, who are they coming back to? First of all, you're a different person and so are they, right? When they come back to you, they will be in need of reparenting, and that's another video I'll do about what it looks like and what reparenting is. That's going to take so much strength from you, you don't even know. And in order to meet them where they are at, when they come back to you, in whatever form they come back to you in, whether it's a phone call, video, or you get custody back or visitation back, it doesn't matter. You need to have worked on your own growth and healing well in advance of that happening. Because you get your children back in any form and you've not put yourself first, how can you parent? How can you do the very thing that you want to do, that you're desperate to do, which is parent? Be there for them, show up for them. Be the wise counsel, the oracle, the person that has answers when they need them. A shoulder to cry on, hugs and arms that are strong. They need that in you. And right now, if you are in the fight, I can tell you you're depleted. And that's where this question keeps coming to me with people that I'm working with. When can I stop? You can stop at any time, of course. But again, for the third time in this video, definition of insanity, keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. The fact is, it doesn't matter how many times you do one thing. If it's not working, it's not working. Switch it out. Move on. Now, when I say move on, I don't mean move on from your children. I'm very clear here. But you are a human being. You have humanity and you are worth a lot. In fact, you're worth so much as their parent that you're fighting so hard to get them back. So why wouldn't you do everything that you can to ensure that you are the pillar of strength and wisdom and patience and growth when they come to you, because they will come to you so broken. They will come to you with ideologies that you don't want to hear about, thoughts, behaviors, patterns. You need to be on top of your game, the best athlete in parental alienation. So yes, stop what you're doing if it's not working. Prioritize yourself and your healing. Those who are not healed cannot heal. What will happen if you get your children back in any sort of form and you've not done the work, you've not stopped, you've ground yourself into the ground, you're hanging on by a thread? That, and you're welcome to dispute it below, in my opinion, that becomes intergenerational trauma. Likely one of the very things that you are fighting against in your own life. Speaking from experience for myself. So, you can choose you. Choosing you means you are choosing your children, both alienated or those that you have with you. Maybe you're a step parent. Maybe you've remarried, and maybe you got a split alienated family where you've got a child or children and others are alienated. Choose you. It's the smartest choice. Because if you choose yourself, you are so ready for your children to come back to you. And I know that's what you want. Comments below.